If you've ever wondered about what's going on in your gut, your microbiome, maybe you've got some unwanted guests in there, well, this is my video all about 8 tips to help you to get rid of parasites and candida. Now, we know that when we have an unhealthy microbiome, this not only lends itself to having poor digestion and a lot of gas and bloating, but this can also translate into your immune system becoming compromised as well. And that's why these 8 tips are really going to help you to clean up that microbiome, kill off the bad guys in a healthy and safe way. Okay, my first tip of 8 is to decrease your exposure to those parasites and potentially unwanted organisms. So what does that mean? That means definitely, if you like to be outdoors and do natural things, yeah, you may be increasing your risk to some of these unwanted organisms, which I'm not telling you to stop doing those things, but doing sometimes healthy things can come with its risks. So for instance, if you eat a lot of sushi, that's going to increase your risk of those parasites. If you eat undercooked meat and animal products, another increased risk of exposure. But even if you're a vegetarian and you eat a lot of raw, fresh fruits and vegetables, this also puts you at risk for parasites and unwanted guests. Now, another big culprit is if you're gardening, if you have pets, of course, that is all going to increase your exposure. So just making sure that you are washing your hands properly. When you are ingesting some of these foods, that maybe you want to sort of back that up with doing proper parasite cleansing just to ensure that you don't have an infestation of those bad guys. Okay, tip number 2 for parasites and candida is to eat in a relaxed setting, and trying to eat outdoors does all the world of good in terms of your microbiome and your connection with your environment. And this has to do with your circadian rhythms. Your microbiome is programmed by the light and dark cycle of the day, and eating outside really does wonders to help to relax your nervous system. And eating in that relaxed setting also puts you more into the parasympathetic part of your autonomic nervous system, meaning that you can properly secrete your own digestive enzymes so that you can digest your food properly. And when you're digesting properly, then your proper enzymes are secreted, that stomach acid is properly secreted, and if you are ingesting some of these parasites, they'll be killed on contact. Okay, tip number 3 for parasites and candida is to use some herbal medicines. Now, these are really powerful. This combination is my favorite. It's what I've used for years with my patients. It's called Cabo, and I've named it that because of the ingredients. So cloves, artemisia, black walnut, and oregano. And this combination is wonderful at killing not only the adult worms, the parasites, but also their eggs. And we know that parasites go through an entire life cycle. I'm going to get to my exact protocol, how you're using these herbal medicines, so stay tuned for that. Okay, tip number 4 is to make sure you're getting enough fiber in your diet. So I actually like to supplement with psyllium seed husks in a capsule form. So the psyllium seed husk really does its great job at cleaning off that intestinal wall and eliminating anything that you may have killed in your parasite cleansing. Okay, tip number 5 is to follow up those herbal medicines, the Cabo, with doing a full body detox. And that's another group of herbal medicines that I love in combination, which really addresses all of your organ systems. So helping with liver cleansing, digestive tract cleansing, as well as your kidneys. It's a blood detox, a lymphatic detox, a skin cleanser. As you're killing off those parasites, you really want to make sure that your internal organs are well equipped to deal not with just the parasites and the toxins that you've been holding on to, but also the toxins that those parasites, and especially candida, is giving off as you're doing that cleanse or detox. For instance, candida can give off over 60 different toxins into your body, so you want to make sure that you're sort of backing up those systems, making sure that they're working properly, all of those internal organs, as part of that full body detox. Okay, tip number 6 is to put the good guys back in. And what are our good guys? The probiotics. So finding a good quality probiotic, but also one that has prebiotics in it, really, really important. One that's designed for your human digestive tract. Some of my favorite strains are Lactobacillus acidophilus and Bifidobacterium bifidum. Make sure that if you are taking a probiotic supplement that it does not contain magnesium stearate. I've got other videos on that and why you want to avoid that magnesium stearate. Okay, tip number 7 is to use a functional protein powder. So not just any protein powder, but one that's actually designed to heal your leaky gut. We have something called tight junctions in the gut wall, and in that gut wall lining, we want to make sure that those tight junctions are nice and close together. With leaky gut syndrome, what happens is that they open up, and now we can have some issues happening in terms of parasites, unwanted organisms, other things getting through the digestive tract that shouldn't be. And now your immune system can actually react to these things. So a good functional protein powder will help and have the special ingredients and raw materials in there, things like selenium, which actually help to seal up that gut wall lining, protecting from that leaky gut. Okay, tip number 8, this is the mind-body connection, as this is related to parasites and candida. So if this makes any type of correlation for you, I just want you to just, think about this, because often people, and what I've seen in my practice over the years, often people that are more prone to chronic parasite and candida issues often may have a sort of ability for parasitic people to sort of cling on and actually be in their life. So it's just food for thought. I want you to think about that. Maybe you have to learn how to say no a little bit more. Maybe you have to learn how to, nicely, maybe not let some of these people in your life as much or as often or at all. Okay, now I promised I would talk a little bit about my parasite cleansing protocol. Okay, so what I really like to do in the first 2 weeks is a strong elimination phase. And that means, getting rid of those bad guys, using that Cabo for the first 2 weeks. So those herbal medicines to get rid of those bad guys. And you're doing that for 2 weeks. You can also support the system at this time with your probiotics and using that functional protein powder, remember, to help to clear up and heal up that gut wall lining. In week 3 and 4 now, this is when we start the full body detox, also making sure that you're getting that fiber in, and that, of course, that functional protein powder, the probiotics in week 3 and 4. But this becomes really important. As the protocol, you can see in the first couple of weeks, we are getting rid of the bad guys. In the next weeks after that, we're supporting those organ systems to deal with that toxic load. Then we go back at week 5 and 6, we go back to the parasite cleansing Cabo herbal medicines, continuing on at this point with the full body detox herbal medicines. So at this point now you're supporting the body, you're still getting rid of, those bad guys, the parasites and the candida, because they do have a life cycle. And that's why we take that 2-week break off of the Cabo, and then we come back to it in week 5 and 6, and then continuing on week 7 to 10, we're continuing with that full body detox and the other supporting nutrients. So once you do this a few times, and I do suggest that people are doing it at least once per quarter, so 4 times per year, to go through the protocol, especially if you have a lot of the symptoms related to having those parasites. And I've got more detox tips. So if you're new to my channel, I want you to check out this video, 7 tips for detox. You're going to learn a lot more there. I'll see you there.